that you are good. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. How are we doing, everybody? Here, I'll have to move this down a little bit. How are you? All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Today, on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, we are discussing the top 5 things to avoid when you're filing a marriage-based green card. All right? It is August 19th of 2021. It is 3 p.m. We're talking about the top 5 things to avoid when you're filing a marriage-based green card. Welcome again. Thank you so much for being here. Here at the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? So thanks for everybody that's tuning in here. Again, we're talking about the top 5 things to avoid when you're filing a marriage-based green card. All right? Thank you to everyone who asked their questions. We've got 30 minutes to discuss this topic in English, and then we're going to do the same episode in Spanish. All right? Now, before we go into this, I do want to say something, and this is just something that's on my mind, heart, and soul today, and that is, I just want to say it. If you are an immigrant, and if you have family who is in Afghanistan, all right, if that's your situation, my heart goes out to you today. And I just want you to know that. We could do a whole Empowered Immigrant Live on the situation in Afghanistan. It is awful and tragic, okay? And maybe I will do that next week. But for this week, we have our thing planned. And I am going to be talking about marriage-based green cards. I have received like 20 or so questions. And so thank you to everyone who asked your questions. But I just wanted to say it because the situation in Kabul and in Afghanistan right now is it's like weighing on my heart, everybody. It's like a horrible situation that our world is experiencing right as we speak. So there we are. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, my name is Otis Landerholm. This is the Empowered Immigrant Live, and I'd love to have you join us on the Empowered Immigrant Podcast if you can check that out anywhere that you receive podcasts. All right? Cool? You with me? All right, now we go. Now, for those who haven't been here before, we've got 30 minutes in English, then we do this in Spanish. Así que si usted habla español, vamos a estar otra vez a las 3:30 de la tarde en vivo en español. All right, that's all I'm going to say in Spanish. So now in English, all right, here's the deal. My office gets calls from couples every day, and they're excited. They've gotten married, great. And, one person's a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. The other person is a foreign national from a different part of the world. And so great, they're excited, they're ready, they're in love, they want to start the process of applying for their green cards. Awesome, I love it. If you're in that situation, give us a call. We'd love to help you, all right? And there are several things you got to know, all right? There's several things you got to know as you go through this process. There's several things that you want to avoid if you're going through this process. You don't want to mess it up. You love your spouse. You want a future with your spouse, right? You don't want to mess up the case, okay? Like yesterday, we were consulting with a couple who entered the U.S. and they did their case completely wrong, all right? They did their case completely wrong, and now they've been sent a second RFE asking for more evidence regarding the form they didn't even need to send to begin with, okay? And their case could be denied because they didn't get good advice from the beginning. Don't let that be you. All right? You got to be smarter than that. Immigration doesn't mess around, so you don't want to either. Don't do this on your own. Do this with some help. Give our office a call. We'd love to help you. So here's the deal. we're going to discuss the basics of marriage-based adjustment of status, marriage-based green cards. Then we'll talk about the 5 things that you should avoid to preserve your marriage-based case, and then we'll open it up to questions. In the meantime, I want you to know that our office has a guide, all right? We call it the top 12 things that all immigrants should avoid in the United States. It is a free guide. We've got it on our website. If we can, we'll put a link to it here below the description of our video today. You're going to want to get it. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this in front of the screen. You're going to want to get it if you can. It's free. You might as well have access to it. And it has 12 things that all immigrants should avoid in the United States. Today, we're really just covering the 5 main ones that affect adjustment of status processes. And so let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. The basics. To be eligible for a marriage-based green card through adjustment of status, you've got to show 3 big things. 3 big things. 1, you've got to show you were inspected and admitted or paroled into the country. Like you entered with a valid, you entered lawfully, all right? You didn't enter hiding in the trunk of a car. You didn't enter, without inspection over the river or over in the desert or whatever, all right? You entered at a checkpoint. You entered at an airport. You entered through car showing your passport to the authorities, trying to get in, and the authorities allowed you to come in. They call that an inspection and admission, all right? Or in some cases, if you didn't have a visa, but they allowed you in anyway, in some cases you might have been paroled in, and humanitarian parole, other types of parole, you can request. So you've got to show that. That's basic number 1. You've got to show you were inspected and admitted or paroled in order to be eligible for adjustment of status. Now, there are exceptions. I'm not going to get into 245I. I'm not going to get into, consular cases with a waiver. All right, that's also an option. Right now, we're talking about the vast majority of cases. If you're newly married applying for adjustment of status, you had to have been inspected and admitted into the United States. Great. Second requirement, you've got to actually be married with a U.S. citizen, all right? Yes, there are ways to do it with a green card holder also, but let's talk about U.S. citizens. When I say actually married, you've got to be legally married, which means if you were ever married in the past, that marriage ended before this marriage, so it ended through death, divorce, annulment, whatever, through a legal means. And you've also got to show that your marriage is quote-unquote bona fide, meaning that it's not just for immigration purposes. It's not like a way to get around the immigration system. You're not just marrying for papers. You're marrying because you actually want to form a life together. That is the second big requirement. Do not marry someone just to get a green card. If you do that, that's a huge violation of immigration laws. Okay, that'll screw over your whole immigration process for the rest of your life. Don't do that. Instead, find somebody you actually love, you actually plan on having a life together with, all right? And being married is great, right? I love being married. Go get married. That's great. But do it with someone you love and you care about and you want to form a life with, because that's when it's great, all right? And then the third requirement, remember, number 1, you got to be inspected and admitted or paroled into the country. 2, you have to actually be married legally and in good faith with a U.S. citizen. The third requirement is you have to be quote-unquote admissible, all right? Now, what the heck does admissible mean? It means all kinds of things. Ever have any problem that triggered an issue with immigration in the past? Have you ever been arrested, ever used or possessed, sold, cultivated, transported any illegal drug, narcotic, things like that? Have you ever, including marijuana, by the way, we'll get into the top 5 things to avoid, that's one of them. Have you ever helped any other person enter the U.S. without permission, right? All the admissibility issues, which is why it's important to do a consultation with an attorney. There are lots of potential things that can cause inadmissibility issues, Have you ever voted unlawfully, claimed to be a U.S. citizen before, issued anything to the U.S. that was false or inaccurate intentionally? Lots of other things. Okay, great. 3 requirements. Again, what are they? Inspected and admitted or paroled, actually married in good faith and legally to a U.S. citizen, all right, and in some instances a green card holder, and you have to be admissible. 1, 2, 3. Got it? Perfect. Very good. We're doing great. The next topic is, okay, what are those 5 things to avoid? Really quick. 1, don't get arrested. Don't violate any law. All right, that's pretty basic. But here's the thing. If I've got a client who has been contacted by law enforcement for any reason, tell your lawyer. All right, tell me. If you're my client, tell me, because I want you to remain silent. I want you to tell the authority that is wanting to arrest you that you have a lawyer. Contact our office, tell us about it, and let us help you. Okay, let us give you good advice. We are not criminal defense attorneys. We are immigration attorneys. We want to win your green card, all right? And so do not plead guilty to something just to like have less time or get out of there. That can screw over your immigration case, all right? And so be cautious, and obviously the best advice is don't violate any law. Number 2, do not use, possess, sell, cultivate, or transport any drug, narcotic, controlled substance, including marijuana. Even if marijuana might be quote-unquote legal in your state, it's not legal under federal law, and immigration is federal, all right? So don't do it. It will destroy your immigration case. Don't even mention marijuana anywhere on your social media accounts, all right? Don't have like a picture of you and a bunch of friends, passing around a marijuana cigarette or something on your Facebook account. Immigration can look at that, they can see it, and they can deny your case because of it. Okay? Number 3, and this is a little bit less, the first 2 maybe you're aware of. Number 3, you might not know this, all right? Number 3 is don't leave the U.S., all right? Don't leave the U.S. And now I put in parentheses, without talking to your lawyer first, and without first obtaining, quote-unquote, advanced parole. Here's the deal, and here's the law. You might not know this. After you file a marriage-based case, if you leave the U.S., they consider that leaving an abandonment of your adjustment of status. Plus, it can trigger unlawful presence bars if you were here without permission for some period of time. But here's the deal. Like, even if you have some kind of visa or some other travel permit, like, don't leave the U.S. during your marriage-based case without getting solid advice from your lawyer first. Otherwise, you may have to start the whole process over again. Okay? That's my point number 3. My point number 4 is, please don't break up. Oh, man. It's a marriage-based case, right? A marriage-based case depends on the marriage. And so, don't break up. You want to take efforts to strengthen your relationship, all right? And now here's the thing. If you're being abused, if you're in a toxic relationship, then yes, get out of there. No human being should tolerate ever being in a toxic, abusive, harmful relationship. So if that's the case, break up and get out of there, and then talk to a lawyer about filing for VAWA, okay? But otherwise, take efforts to always be improving communication, always improve trust, with your spouse. You're in it to win it. You want to have a good relationship. The relationship comes first, in my opinion. The green card comes second. Treat it that way. Treat your relationship as one of the most important aspects of your entire life, because it ought to be. All right? And then my 5th and final thing to avoid is don't trigger any other inadmissibility. Get our guide. It's free. Don't say you're a U.S. citizen. Don't lie to immigration. Don't help anybody else, even though it might be tempting. Don't help anybody else enter the U.S. without permission. Get our free guide. and that's it. Okay, those are the top 5 things to avoid. The bonus last one that I'll just put it in there is please don't do this process alone. All right, have a professional help you. That's what we're here to do. You might say, hey, obviously you're a lawyer, of course you want people to hire you, right? Hey, if I were doing this for my wife, I'd hire someone that's not me. All right, even being a lawyer, I would have a different lawyer go with me. I really recommend that everybody have a lawyer who's not themselves. Help them through the process, guide them through the process, take over the professional responsibility to make sure it's done well. All right, these cases take a long time. Small errors can make them take even longer. They can cause lots of headache that's avoidable. And so, have a professional help you. All right. It is time for some questions. We are doing great, and we've got lots of questions today. If you are out there, please ask me your questions. Even if I don't have time to answer them all today, I will answer them. So ask me your questions, all right? Bring that on. I very much welcome it. We're going to get to it. My first question today comes from Joshua, all right? Joshua, thank you for asking your question. Your question is, can my husband work while I file for his papers? Okay, answer, great question, Joshua. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you, all right? Now, here's the thing. People can apply for a work permit when they apply for their adjustment of status. It takes, 5 to 7 approximately months right now for that work permit to get approved through a well-documented and well-done application for adjustment of status. But, Joshua, if your husband works in the United States in the meantime, and if you're a U.S. citizen, the case can still be approved. All right? And so, wait, he would work without permission. Oh, the case can still be approved. All right? I promise we do it all the time. It's marriage to a U.S. citizen it's not even a waiver, right? It does not cause a problem. Working without permission does not cause a problem if you are married to a U.S. citizen. It does cause a problem if you're married to a green card holder, okay? And so that's a different conversation. But anyway, so I wanted to say that. Joshua, thank you for your question. If we can help you in any other way, please give us a call. Let's do a consultation. Next question comes from Natalia. Natalia, question. I arrived on a visitor visa, but I overstayed it. So I'm here unlawfully. I get it. That's a nerve-wracking place to be. I'm now married to a U.S. citizen. My husband wants to help me. Can he? The answer is, hey, Natalia, as long as you don't have any other inadmissibility issue, no arrests, no drug use, etc., no other inadmissibility stuff, then the fact that you overstayed your visa is okay when you're married to a U.S. citizen, all right? Marriage to a U.S. citizen forgives the fact that you may have overstayed your visa. Got it? All right? Not true for green card holders. Not true if you're married to a green card holder, but if you're married to a U.S. citizen, then you're okay. Okay? Hope that was helpful. Thank you for asking the question. The next question comes to me in Spanish, and it is from Reina. Reina, thank you for doing your question. Your question is, do you guys help with DACA? All right? Reina, the quick answer is yes, we do. Okay, we do. We do lots of DACA cases. We do lots of DACA advice. The truth is that DACA, if you're an initial applicant for DACA right now, as of the 19th of August, 2021, your case will not be approvable quite yet. There's a court order that happened a month ago that has said that DACA is paused for new applicants until the Department of Homeland Security changes the DACA program or until Congress does something about it, passes a new law. That decision is also being appealed, so we'll see what happens there. But, Reina, if you had DACA in the past and you're just trying to renew it, yes, we can help you with that. We would love to. Please contact our office. We'd love to do a consult. Okay, great. We're doing great, everybody. I see questions coming in. I really appreciate it. My next question comes from Denise. Denise asks, if you, over time, and you were, okay, this is a tricky language. Let's see here. If you overstayed, I get it, and you married a U.S. citizen that was your ex, and now you rekindle and you get married again with your ex, how long does the filing take? Cool. Denise, awesome. So my understanding there is you entered the U.S., you married to a U.S. citizen, then you divorced the U.S. citizen, and now you're thinking of getting married again. Did I get that scenario right? Cool. Thank you for asking that. Here's the deal. If you remarry a U.S. citizen legally, all right, you can start an adjustment of status case again. And your question is, how long does the filing take? It's the same processing as all cases. It's approximately 2 years right now is what an adjustment of status case is taking, depending on your field office. But in many parts of the country, it's about a 2-year process. And that hopefully will speed up as the government starts hiring more officers, and as the pandemic continues to, as the backlog is addressed and stuff after the pandemic. And so, as long as you meet all the other criteria, I would just say, Denise, do a consultation, talk it through. You should be eligible. Okay? Our next question comes from Carla. Carla, thank you. Thank you. Your question says that I am an asylee with a green card, but I would like to travel outside the U.S. Can I use my Mexican passport to go to another country? Or do I have to request a particular refugee asylee passport? Okay? All right. So let me answer that question, Carla. So yes, if you won your asylum status, okay, you are allowed to travel as an asylee. The best advice there is to get a refugee travel document first, okay? If you are an asylee still, all right? Get a refugee travel document first, but still do not go back to your home country. Best advice is do not go back to your home country. If you're an asylee, you're saying you're afraid for your life to go back to your home country. Go to a different country, and you can do it with a refugee travel document. All right? When you've already won your green card, the green card does count, all right, as a travel document. A green card is a travel document. It's a re-entry document into the U.S. However, even in that situation, it is still recommendable to do it with a refugee travel document instead of with your passport. Okay? And so, anyway, I wanted to say that. So hope that was helpful. Carla, if you have questions, please feel free to contact our office. The next question comes from Sione. I hope I get that name right. Maybe it's Sion. Maybe Sion. Thank you for this question. You say, I married before in the 1980s, and then we didn't live together. No kids involved, nothing else. And then we both moved on. And I thought that she filed for divorce. And now after 12 years, I married my wife now, and she's a citizen. So she filed for my green card. So I'm a green card holder. So I have been a green card holder for, it says 23 years, I think it says. I decided to file for my citizenship. It requested for my previous marriage and divorce certificate. And then they found out about my previous marriage, and it looks like neither one of us ever filed for divorce. All right, I got it. So this is a really frustrating situation, and you're not alone, Sione. You're not alone. That's a frustrating situation to be in. Now you're scared. You filed for citizenship, but now they're doing this further investigation. So now what do you want to do about it? What should you do? So here's the deal, right? You might need to go back and divorce your first wife, and then you might need to go back and remarry your current wife. You might need to do those things because, your current marriage actually isn't a lawful marriage if you were still married at the time you entered this marriage. All right? So you got to do it right. You got to do the marriage issue right. So you might need to file for finalize that divorce first, then remarry your current wife, which I know sounds crazy, but just that would be the legal process to do it, and then you could file a new case. Now, if immigration says, hey, that first marriage was fraudulent, you didn't even live together, right, then that could cause bigger issues. And if there's anything like that, I would say contact a lawyer first. Give our office a call. We'd love to help you, all right? We'd love to help you navigate that. We can run immigration records, see what immigration has on your situation, and give you much more precise immigration advice, okay? I'm only going to have time for a few more questions here, but I'll keep going. The next question comes from Maria, all right? Maria, thank you for your question. It says, hello, good day. What type of what type of application do I need to fill out when I'm getting a divorce? Okay? Or do I just send a letter explaining that I've divorced and that I don't want to continue with my case? All right. Thank you, Maria. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that process. If you're divorcing, you can either do nothing and just let the case, they'll schedule an interview and then nobody will show up and then they'll deny it. But my best advice is instead to withdraw the petition by sending a letter and letting them know, hey, we're no longer pursuing this case. We're withdrawing our application. All right, and you can say in the letter that you're getting divorced. It's cleaner that way because then you preserve kind of what happened. You don't want it to affect you negatively later by then saying that, hey, this marriage was fraudulent or something like that. Okay? Couple more questions. And Maria, if you have questions, please feel free to give us a call. The next question comes from Josephine. Josephine, thank you for your question. You say, my dad brought us to the USA in 1976 in December. He's become a U.S. citizen in 1978, and I was 13 years old at the time. Our stepmom filed for us to come to the U.S., but then I got convicted of something, and so then they sent me back, all right? And so, I got that. Thank you, Josephine, for that question. So here's the deal. There's more things to know here. And the question is, when your dad brought you in 1976, did you have a green card, all right? Or did he just bring you as a tourist or something? Because if they brought you if you were a green card holder and under 18, when your father became a citizen, you might be a citizen, all right? And so that's the thing to investigate in your case. And then there might be some other things, we could look up that conviction, see if it really made you deportable, all right, or inadmissible, see if you're eligible to come back. All right, Josephine, thank you so much for your question. Please give us a call. We'd love to help you. The next question comes from Kui. Kui says, how would I file a petition for a stepchild who is over 18 already? Awesome. Great question. So, Kui, the question there is, okay, if you are, if you married the biological parent of the stepchild before the stepchild turned 18, then legally you are the step-parent for immigration purposes. All right? If you married the stepchild after the stepchild was already 18, then sorry, you're not technically the step-parent for immigration purposes. I know that seems crazy, but that's the way the immigration law works. The marriage had to have taken place before the child turned 18. Had to have, all right? So, but if you did marry and now the child is over 18, but if they're under 21, you can file that petition. File a petition. You can do that, all right? As long as you legally are the step-parent, you have the right to file a petition for your stepchild. That's it, all right? And if they're under 21, then it's a much faster process. File it quickly, right? File it before they turn 21. All right, gosh, I've got more questions here. Abdul, I see your question. How can I file an asylum petition for my brother and his family who's in the worst security condition in Afghanistan right now? As I said when I started, Abdul, thank you for that question. My heart goes out to you, to your family, to your brother and his family, and to everybody in Afghanistan right now, because that is a horrible nightmare of a situation. and it is chaotic and awful, and I wish that there was an easier way to do it. Really, the answer, unfortunately, is he's got to get into the U.S. before he can apply for asylum. All right? There is refugee processes, but oh my gosh, those are going to be horrible. All right? So figure out, here's the actual truth. Go to the U.S. Embassy at Kabul website and fill out the form to get them an emergency evacuation. And that's not easy to do. It's actually dangerous to do, all right, because there's soldiers even monitoring who's going to the airport. But that's the only way that I know of to get out of Afghanistan right now, is to go through that process, all right? My heart goes out to you and all the people of Afghanistan, and if we can support you in any way, call us. I'd love to do a consultation, okay? So everybody that's out there, that's all I had time for. Let's see, Karzaba, U-Visa process, thank you for your question. Rachid, thank you for your question. I see it. I'm not going to have time to answer those questions. Other people, Maria, Riley, Kodaline, Edmund, Lalo, Annie, Amy. I see lots of people have asked questions today. Thank you all so much. I'm not going to have time to answer them right here, right now. I will make separate videos, and I promise I will answer every single question that you have asked. If you want that later video, please give me a thumbs up to my channel here on YouTube. Please hit the notifications bell on our YouTube channel, and you will be informed when we update future videos. Thank you all so much for joining me for another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Friendly reminder to download our free guide. We have it on our website. I'll try to put it in a link here below our video. I'm not super clear on how to do that, but we will try to do that. And then, but you know, it's a free guide of the top 12 things for all immigrants to avoid in the United States. This is our most popular free guide. And so get it, look at it, and I hope that it's helpful. If you have an immigration case, if you have an immigration question, if you want help going through a process, please give our office a call. We'd love to help you. Thank you again for being here. I'll see you on the next episode. I'm Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Thanks a lot.